So we're going to use an example to show how you can, with a script, zoom to a layer. So let's going to use this script here, and for that we're going to use a project. So in that case, our dataset as a project. I'm going to open the project here manually. So open, in fact, open recent. It's right here. Okay, and my project has 3 layers. As a CS text delimited layer, as a shapefile. You can see here the text delimited source, a shapefile layer, and a web map service layer, which is this background image. Okay, so my goal here is automatically to show how I can zoom just to this layer. So the first thing here, the code, would be to define what's my project. So the first thing is to create. I'm creating a new variable called my project, which is going to be the instance of this project that we have here. So the variable will point to that project. So I'm going to execute this. Okay, and now I have this variable. I can see what this variable, what's its value is. So you can see it's object of class QGIS project. It says a singleton instance, means that we're gonna have one project at a time, and this is the path to the project file. So let's going to skip here. So one thing, maybe just to show, we can have access to the canvas with this method, iFace map canvas. So same thing, if I execute this, I'm going to create this new object, which is of class QGIS map canvas. Okay, so it's pointing to the canvas. So one thing I can do is to make a zoom to full extent. But you see, since I have OpenStreetMap, which covers the whole globe, the result of doing a zoom to full extent is something like this. And the distortion is because of the coordinate reference system I'm using, which works well for Portugal, but then causes distortion for the rest of the world. So now let's see that I would like, with my script, now to zoom back to just Portugal, to this layer which has the Portuguese counties in the continent. So the first thing we need to do is to access that layer. So I know that the layer name is this one. That's the layer I want to access. So I'm just going to create this variable layer name. And now this is just a string with the name of the layer. So now I can use a method called map layers by name, a method from that can be applied to a my project, and it has one argument, which is the layer name, and it's going to return, we're going to see, is going to return a list of layers. So if I run this, then I get a list. It starts with a square bracket and a square bracket, but a list has just one element. It has just one element because there's only one layer which name is this one. If I had more than one layer of this name, then this list would have more elements. But since I only want the layer, I'm going to get the first element of the list, so index 0, and I'm going to get now just an instance of this class QGIS vector layer, which is which points to the layer I'm interested in. So now I have a variable called myLayer that points to the layer I want, and I can extract from that layer its extent. So if I do this, run, and then see what extent is, you can see it's an object of class QGIS rectangle because the extent is a rectangle. And the coordinates here that we have are coordinates in X and Y that correspond to the coordinate reference system we're using. So I get the extent of my layer, and now I can use that object, my canvas, to change the extent of the canvas. So I'm going to run this. And now it's kind of we don't see very well. We need to refresh the canvas, which I can do with that. And now we have what we wanted, which is we zoomed in to the extent of this given layer. I have to do all that, only need to know what the name of the layer I want to use.